Hello and welcome to Legion Logs, Episode 2. In this episode we're going to look at Star Trek, a quick little overview, and then we're going to have a review on the new Marvel movie, Infinity War.
Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the starship Enterprise. Its 5-year mission, to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilizations, to boldly go where no man has gone before.
Star Trek premiered in 1966 and ran until 1969. It was created by Gene Roddenberry and is set in the 23rd century. Star Trek follows the adventures of Captain James T. Kirk and the crew of the Starship Enterprise. In this universe, the Earth is at peace and has founded the United Federation of Planets. In their ongoing journey throughout the stars, Captain Kirk and crew encounter and must deal with all manner of space phenomenon, as well as their interstellar rivals, the Klingon Empire and the Romulan Star Empire. Star Trek was made by Desilu Studios and ran for 3 seasons for a total of 79 episodes. Its popularity exploded when the show went into syndication following its 1969 cancellation. By the end of the 3rd season, Paramount Pictures had bought the series from Desilu. Following the series cancellation, Paramount Studios soon discovered the true numbers of people watching Star Trek, and then spent the next 10 years trying to bring the show back in some form. There was a short-lived animated series in 1973, but it would not be until 1979 when Star Trek transitioned to the silver screen in Star Trek the Motion Picture. Despite ballooning production costs, mixed reviews, and a troubled production and post-production, Star Trek the Motion Picture went on to earn $139 million. This was back in the 70s, so it was pretty good money back then. And though it didn't do as well financially as Paramount had hoped, it did earn more than enough to justify 5 more films. These were Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, Star Trek III, The Search for Spock, Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home, Star Trek V, The Final Frontier, and Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country. Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country also marks the final journey of a Starship Enterprise under the command of the original Captain James T. Kirk and crew. Well, that wraps up part 1 of our Star Trek overview. Stay tuned next week for part 2, and also stay tuned for next up we've got our Marvel Infinity War review. Welcome back. This is the Infinity War review. Now, if you haven't seen it yet, if you haven't seen the movie, stop, go watch it. Because this video is going to contain spoilers, and I don't want anyone complaining in the comments, oh, you spoiled the movie, there were spoilers, why didn't you warn us? Here's your warning. Go watch it. And then come back and watch this video. Because I need the views. Well, this has been 17 years in the making, Infinity War. We certainly were treated to one of the best Marvel movies that has ever been made. I don't think it's much of a lie. But it's also a movie that needs everything else that has come before. Because it jumps straight into the action. It's had, God knows how many bloody movies. 17 years worth of previous Marvel films introducing all the main characters and building up this epic storyline that there's this titan out there. We're treated with a whole slew of characters. We're treated with all the old Avengers with the exception of Hawkeye and no, just Hawkeye actually. The old Avengers by him, and the new Avengers that we saw in the second film. Didn't see Ant-Man or Wasp Girl. Their story at this time is obviously untold, but they're joined with Doctor Strange. We've got obviously the Guardians of the Galaxy in there. Nick Fury was missing up until the very end. So I reckon there's a story, in there. I reckon he might actually be a main character in perhaps Captain Marvel, which is coming out very soon. Thor as well. He's in there as well in this in Infinity War. So yeah, a whole heap of characters right there in the hands of a lesser studio. Total mess. But Marvel has proven themselves to be masters of storytelling. They've just got the right people in the right jobs, basically. Their films, keep hitting the right spots. The actors know their characters, which is very good. They've got perfect casting for the perfect characters, really. So that was very good to see in this film. The actors really stepped up. You could tell they were really enjoying it, and I think one of the thrills was that they were able to work with these other great characters. All these actors would have been seeing these movies and all the other movies, I'm guessing. The pairing up in this film was done very well, and with great comedic effect as well. The great Marvel humor that we're seeing in these films is really, on spot in this film. The interactions between Thor and Rocket, for example, it's just, you can see Rocket almost, falling in love with Thor. The fact that Thor just gets away throughout the whole film of calling him a rabbit, of all things, and Rocket just not minding at all. That was fun to see. You've got the interactions between Strange and Tony Stark. Two massive egos just smashing away there. That was fun to see. But also later on in the film, right, before the climactic battle was about to kick off, you've got Peter Quill and Tony Stark having a little bit of a face off there. Not a dance off, sadly, but that was fun to see. The quip versus the ego. So this throughout the whole film is what makes Infinity War such a great piece to watch, such a fun film to watch as well, which I think is important with this notion that half the universal population is about to be blinked out of existence if Thanos succeeds in his plan. Certainly look forward to part two. How this storyline is going to resolve, or how the storyline is going to evolve. Because it certainly reached a conclusion, but obviously the story isn't done because not all of the Avengers are dead. So if you remember what Tony Stark said at the end of the first Avengers, if they can't save the Earth, you can be damn sure they're going to avenge it. So perhaps it might be a bit of a revenge film that kicks off the next one. The music was very good in this film. I love the music. It suited the film. I was not jarred out of the film by the music. To be honest, actually, I can't really say there was a piece of music that I specifically remember, which is really what music is supposed to do. Music should be there to support the film, to enrich the film, and in that regard, it did very well. The music was composed by Alan Silvestri, who undoubtedly has quite a few credits on his IMDb page. So, and he excelled very well. Although I do wish we had seen, or we had heard, I should say, Thor's theme. Thor's got a fantastic theme, and I think, if memory serves, it's missing in the final battle. When Thor comes down and he's got this big ball of, electricity, and he's plowing it all through. Perfect time to kick in that great Thor sort of, I don't know what you'd call it, thunder rock theme, for lack of a better term. You know, and it's just an amazing piece of music, and it would have been beautiful right there because, you know, he's itching for some revenge after what Thanos' forces did to, you know, at the start of the film, wiping out almost all of the Asgardians. Overall, this was great. What is it? Is 2 hours 40 minutes, I believe, in length. Very long film, but you know they did have a good deal to tell. So I'm glad that they had the length of time to tell that story and tell it properly. The worst thing they could have done was to try to squeeze all that into an hour and a half film. That would have wrecked the film, and it would have bombed because it would have just been a bit of a mess. So thankfully they didn't go that route. They gave the length that the story needed. Yeah, I would rate this film quite highly. I'd rate it out of 5 stars. I'd rate it a 4 stars. Overall, great film. Definitely looking forward to some of the other films that are coming out. We've got at least one more coming out this year, I believe. I'm not sure if it's Captain Marvel or if it's the next Ant-Man. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how it links in with the events, or if it's going to be taking place just before Infinity War starts. That could happen. Yeah, we're about to find out. So yes, 4 out of 5 stars for Infinity War. Excellent work. Definitely looking forward to the next one at the end of next year or the mid of next year. And we'll see what they have in store. We'll see how this story wraps up. So that was our second episode. Our Star Trek overview part 1 and our Marvel Avengers Infinity War review. Keep an eye out for our next episode, where we'll be looking at a Star Trek overview part 2 and also 10 great Star Trek starships. Now, if you like this video, if you like what you're seeing, then please follow me on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. You know, I try to post there regularly, at least once a week. Would definitely love to see you guys there. You know, comment on this video. Do you agree with my review? Do you disagree? What did you think of the overview? Did you know anything specific you want? I've got a few ideas on episodes going into deeper depth, and also going to be looking at other sci-fis as well, not just Star Trek. So yes, hope to see you guys. Comment in and let me know what you think. Till next time. Ciao.